Welcome to the Skyview Motorsports Desk. I'm Roy J. Akers. With me is our NASCAR insider, Steve Schweitzer of the Last Go Press. Steve, it's over. The drivers are on the way back to Mexico, and everybody's okay. I like hearing that, but it was really quite a race, I thought.
Yeah, I was impressed with the track. It had some great features to it. Passing zones were tight, but you could still make a move on a guy. And I thought the race was great. It was just exciting all afternoon.
Yeah,
I
I,
really
I
like the I really like the stadium section of the track, where the cars essentially ran through the middle of the grandstand. That was a unique feature that made it kind of special, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. That's not repeated anywhere else. It's almost like Fenway Park is the baseball. It's unique. No one else has that wall, at least in Major League Baseball. And they have that. That's unique in racing. I've never seen that particular feature before. A lot of the road races that we've seen over the last few years had a lot of dive bombing and a lot of craziness. In this race, I didn't think we really saw that as much. Did you, Steve?
No, I mean they had a big incident when Kyle Busch got
Yeah.
loose that involved I think it was five or six cars, but that was just a matter of you know wet track, and he kind of overdrove it into the corner and couldn't keep it together. And that's
Yeah,
racing.
yeah, and it was kind of interesting because Rain did play some strategy in the track early on about whether they're going to use the rain tires or slicks or what have you. And a lot of the drivers, including SVG, he was trying to go to slicks earlier than what his team wanted to. A lot of drivers were kind of on the fence on that. I think Ty Gibbs was stuck for a while on the track. A few drivers were kind of stuck. And to me, tires are a great big uh, strategy point that you need in any kind of racing. They have it in IndyCar where you have to use a certain amount of tires for a minute. You have to use them. It doesn't say how many laps, but you got to use them. When NASCAR tried that last year, I thought it worked out real well. And I like that the teams had to use the rain and the slicks for a certain, at least for a lap. So.
Yeah, I remember when the wet weather tires originally came out, NASCAR would mandate that they had to switch over to them, and they would throw a caution to make that happen. They did throw the caution to let them change, but the option was up to the teams whether they remained on slicks or whether they took the rain tires. And I thought it added an interesting dynamic to the race. It was especially early on, fascinating to see how the drivers handled it.
Yeah, I like it too because if you went in and pitted, you were going from the front of the lap to the back of the, and you weren't going a lap down, but you were definitely 40 seconds or so off the
Yeah.
pace of the race. Uh, when you take a look at that, one of the things I like, Shane Van Gisbergen, he won his debut in NASCAR in Chicago in the street race 2 years ago. They say his success in road courses has been yes, no, maybe so in some of the races since then. But the announcers and everybody said what a huge advantage he had because no one else had seen the track. His ability to clutch shift is different and better. It's game changing compared to other people. What did you think about that?
Yeah, with him using the clutch, it allowed him to be able to roll the car into the corner a little bit more and use the brake a little bit less. And you sure can't argue with success. He pretty much dominated the race. He had a fast car. He won the pole. Um, but I'll tell you, I think as the race went on, I really believe that Ty Dillon, it's not Ty Dillon, but Ty Gibbs, probably had the fastest car on the track. And but the old wily veteran took advantage of Gibbs's youth, I think. Gibbs got shuffled back a little bit, and he burned up his tires trying to work his way through traffic. So it kind of ended his day.
Right now, let's go on down there to the post-race press room. Shane Van Gisbergen, take us kind of through the race as you win your second career NASCAR race, and you must be really happy and really relieved.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, brilliant day, brilliant weekend, I guess, for us with a pole and a win. yeah, I really am stoked for Safety Culture to get a great result with them. We've had speed with them on the car, but never had a great result. So amazing to win with an Australian company on the car. And yeah, just thank you so much to the Trackhouse guys, Chevy, ECR Engines, and everyone who's supported us and dug deep. You know, it's been a tough start to the year, but there's been a lot of bright spots lately, a lot of progress, and yeah, today was that last stint. You know, I struggled to enjoy it because I'm just praying that a yellow wouldn't come out, but the car was just like unreal, just so balanced. And yeah, I kind of took off to a lap time and thought, oh, maybe the 48's cruising, maybe he's not, and then they just blew off. So it was yeah, those last 10 or 15 was pretty special.
Well, we'd like to thank Shane. I agree with Shane. I mean, how can you disagree with how he went through the race? He had to have been relieved. And, you know, when you go into NASCAR knowing that you made the playoffs and you have a little bit of maneuvering that you can do, but Steve, points wise, when you take a look at the drivers, we've had 10 different winners this year and 10 races left. Uh, Basically, with 16 drivers making the playoffs, only 6 of them, if there's 6 new winners, there's no room for anybody on points. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, if we have more than 6 winners, it's going to get pretty interesting in the last race or two, because the guy who really enjoyed seeing Shane Van Gisbergen win yesterday was Josh Berry, because he was the guy who was at the bottom of points as far as winners go. But now SVG has stepped into that spot. So I don't think we will boot 2 drivers out of the top 16, but there is a possibility that one could get eliminated based on the amount of points they had over the season. And Barry has got quite a good advantage on SVG right now.
And with that, we're going to go back one last time to the media press room. SVG, you must be a real relief to have won that race. And at some point, you turn into a road course ringer. Is that going to happen to you, or do you feel like you're more of an all-around driver than what some people are saying about you?
As I said earlier, that's why I'm here, to win road races, you know, but I'm not here to run last on the ovals either. I need to keep getting better, and, you know, to justify being a Cup Series driver, I need to be performing on the ovals too. So I feel like we're really making strides, but yeah, this is what I'm here to do, make the playoffs, put another Trackhouse car in the playoffs, and yeah, I can't wait to do the victory lunch during the week at Trackhouse and just see how stoked everyone is there. Like, you see the effort everyone puts in, and they don't get the glory, you know, they're just stuck at the shop. So I love, you know, taking that and sharing that moment with them during the week.
Does this take the pressure off of the other road courses that you would have had to worry about, you know, throughout the rest of the year?
Maybe, you know, but it might change. You know, it changed last year how we raced. We won the race at Portland, then we started racing for playoff points, and, you know, it changed our approach to the races with flipping straight stages and stuff like that. So now we're trying to get as many playoff points as we can. So yeah, I guess it does take some pressure off because we can freestyle a little bit more, but every race we go to, the expectation is going to be there.
Obviously, Shane, he knows he's on he's being graded on a curve on the ovals, but he believes he's come a long way, but he still has a ways to go.
Yeah, no doubt he's a talented driver, and he'll learn the ovals. It's tough. You're stepping into a sport with the best drivers in the world, and he had absolutely no experience on an oval track. So 2-3 years, you know, he's going to be right there.
So there you have it, a 17-second victory for Shane Van Gisbergen. And NASCAR has, what, 3 more road courses, city rides with Chicago before the playoffs start. So with Sonoma and Watkins Glen coming up, it's going to be very interesting, and we may see a couple of wild cards there, I would think.
Well, we got to clue our viewers into the fact that there was a little post-race action. Oh. We had another Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Carson Hocevar on-track incident late in the race. Hocevar ran into the back of Stenhouse and got both of them loose. They lost some positions as a result of that. And on pit road, Ricky got out of his car pretty quick, walked up to Hocevar's car and stuck his head in the window. There was some question about what he said, but they picked it up on radios, and Stenhouse essentially said, "I'm going to kick your ass, but I'm not going to do it in Mexico. I don't want to spend a night in their jail."
Produce some frustrating endings.
I'm going to beat your ass. You're a lap down. You got nothing to do. Why are you running right into me? Second time. I don't give it to you. I will be trash. I will be get back in the state.
So we'll be watching that at Pocono for sure. That's the kind of track that if you want to give somebody a boot, it could be quite interesting.
So what we're going to do, we're going to be back in about 30. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Pocono, and Steve Schweitzer will be there. He's making the track up the toll, and we're going to have that for you next.
Our family stories are your family stories, except with more confetti.
Relive racing history with a walk along Glory Road, or try your hand at our fan favorite racing simulator or pit crew challenge. Feel the passion and thrill of racing with stories and artifacts from the legends who shaped the sport in the Hall of Honor and Heritage Speedway.
Visit the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte for the ultimate outing. NASCAR Hall of Fame, this is our sport. This is our house.
Steve, moving on to Pocono, and boy, it's called the Tricky Triangle, and there's 3 different banking angles for the 3 turns, and turn 2 is the bumpy turn that you're going to find out when you get to the track, and it goes over a tunnel. It's bumpy as heck. It's not as bad as the Michigan Road, but you kind of get the idea that the drivers are very cautious about what they do. You are going to have a fantastic time. The people are great. The food's great. The fans are great. You're just going to love it.
Yeah, this is my first trip to Pocono. I've never been able to quite work it into the schedule in previous years. I know you've been there before, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a very interesting place to watch a race. All those things that you mentioned about the dynamics of the different corners make it just unique. And boy, have seen some horrible crashes there at the track in the past years. I remember one Jimmy Johnson hit into the outside wall that I think shook him up the worst he's ever been blasted in his racing career. Should be fun.
Just a moment. And he was saying it's a veterans track. One of the things that I remember happened 2 years ago, and this was pretty serious at the time, is that when Denny Hamlin kind of roughed up Kyle Larson, actually in the front stretch just before the first turn, and that took Larson out of it, and that brought some words between those two. There's a lot of side drafting. There's a lot of drafting in this track, and you can put, as a veteran driver, someone who is not used to the track in a bad spot. And if that happens, you could go around somebody and you can kind of set them up. And that's what I like, that kind of strategy.
Mm-hmm. Well, there has been some payback at Pocono in years past. I won't be putting Carson Hocevar in my fantasy team this weekend.
No, I will not either.
I think that he might get taught a lesson there at the track. But hey, Denny Hamlin is hot again. He is one that could pull out a win at the track. Of course, Kyle Larson's been on a little bit of a downer, but that can turn around at any time. And I've been real impressed with Chase Elliott the last few weeks. He just continues to perform. Hasn't got a win yet. That might be someplace he could break through.
Yep. As a matter of fact, we might as well go to that right now. As far as pulling a Shane Van Gisbergen this week, someone who's way back in the pack and could possibly sneak in and turn around their whole season and kind of do the Josh Berry, whatever. Well, it actually put Josh Berry in a great spot, because then he would, have 2 people under him instead of 1. But in my opinion, well, who do you think could actually turn around and flip the standings around here?
Well, I think my dark horse would be Ty Gibbs. Um, he looked really good down in Mexico. And we all know he's going to win a race. It's just a matter of when. Uh, Again, the favorites, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and for a Ford, maybe Joey Logano will put another win under his belt at Pocono.
All right. As far as some long shots, I don't have anybody I think that's 30th like Shane Van Gisbergen that's going to flip things around. But you mentioned two of my three drivers that I had. I mentioned Chase Elliott. Elliott performs very well at Pocono, and he's a guy that could very well break through. He's solid every week. He's a veteran driver, and we got to take a look at that. Also, in my opinion, I agree with you as a dark horse, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs finished, I think it was the top five finish 2 years ago when I went, and he's on a roll. And I like drivers that are not only a horse for the course, but are you hot right now? How's your last month of your body of work? And in my opinion, I think that Ty Gibbs could do very well. When I did talk to Joe Gibbs 2 years ago, he came to the press room because Denny Hamlin won, I think it was his 50th race at the time. Now he's up to 57. And when I asked him a question about his grandson Ty, he just lit right up. And so you can see the pride that he has of putting his grandson in a car, in a great machine. Another guy I like too. It sounds a little odd, maybe, but Alex Bowman has been on a consistent trajectory down. But he had a little bit better race down there in Mexico. He does well at Pocono. I wouldn't be surprised. He is 12th in points. He's like Chase Elliott. He does not have a win this year, but he could turn things around for us. Any final comments that we have as you get ready to travel down the turnpike?
Well, we both talked about Chase Elliott. He is the highest ranked driver in points that does not have a win yet this season. Um, you know, and he's been that way all year long. I mean, it's conceivable that if we don't have 16 winners and he's able to sneak into the playoffs on points, if he doesn't get a win here in the upcoming weeks, I mean, here's a guy who could go to the finals at Phoenix without ever having a win the whole year. His dependability, his ability to stay out of trouble and stay near the front is it's just resulted in a great season for him without a win.
And there you have it. As a matter of fact, the playoffs started when Matt Kenseth had that 1 year. What did he win? He won no times, or he won one time the whole year. But he had a Chase Elliott type season. It was second, fourth, second, fifth, ninth, fourth. The whole year he went out there. And as we're seeing in NASCAR, think about this. You have Kyle Larson, 3 victories. Then you have William Byron, 1 victory. But Byron is up by like almost 70 points because he's finished all the races. Kyle Larson has had 2 DNFs where he had literally no points, where William Byron was in the top 5, the top 10, got 35 points in those races, and that's the difference in the standings right now. So Chase Elliott, he keeps pointing him up, but I think he's going to break through. He's going to be a champagne popper before the playoffs begin.
One other thing we can keep an eye on for the fans, Roy, is Denny Hamlin didn't make the trip to Mexico. His longtime girlfriend was giving birth to their son. And so to qualify for the playoffs, you have to compete in all of the regular season races. Now, Kyle Larson got a waiver last year when he didn't run at Charlotte. So it'll be interesting to see how NASCAR handles that situation. I'm sure that Joe Gibbs Racing will apply for a waiver. But being the family sport that they are, it would be very unpopular for NASCAR not to allow him in.
I thought he did get a waiver, but I'm going to go take it that you're right on that matter. In NASCAR, the way they are, I mean, in Major League Baseball, for instance, they get maternity waivers all the time. I mean, there's the Tigers have had already a couple players this year. Most major league teams have players at the age where they're creating a family, and I in NASCAR is a total family outfit. If they're nothing else, they're all about family. So I'll
I
take
think
it.
everybody assumes that they were going to issue it, but you can't apply for it until it actually happens.
Yeah.
NASCAR doesn't like what if situations, so they'll apply, and I'm sure that NASCAR will allow it. But it's just a little extra excitement to keep the fans' interest up.
Okay. My final comment, my winner this week, Chase Elliott. My dark horse is Ty Gibbs. I did not steal that from you. I've got it written right here, but you can say what you want. All right, Steve, what you got? You got a pick? You got a dark horse yourself?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs, the dark horse, and I think Denny Hamlin is going to come back and show you that he wish he could have been in Mexico but didn't make it. So.
Yeah, and there you have it. So with that, Steve, he's our NASCAR insider. Where can we find you at, Steve?
TheLascoPress.com.
And Steve has a lot of great stories out there that he's working on. He's going to work on a bunch more. We're going to try to work on a Zoomcast also for this weekend, where we're going to do a kind of a driver quote bag. And so we're going to take a look and see what the drivers have to think. And we're going to bring all that to you. And then we're both going to be in Atlanta in 2 weeks. Finally, our Zoomcast next week, we are going to have Tyler Head. Tyler Head is in charge of communications at Echo Park Speedway. Whew, I thought I was going to say the other one. And
Gotta stay on top of those sponsors.
Yeah, and also we have talked to a few teams, so we might have a couple wrinkles up our sleeve, but we don't want to give it away until we have all that firmed up. Steve, once again, it's awesome. I love the fact that you're at Martinsville Speedway, and love it. It's just a fantastic background. So, Steve, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, thanks, Roy.
Produce some frustrating endings.